Hi there, I am Nikkola of Nikkola Co, and welcome to the Tuesday Tune-In. So this is a weekly space that I hold for you, all with the intention and purpose of bringing you closer to your own divine wisdom. There are so many things that we can reflect on and grow in our lives, and each week I take a different one of these topics and prompt you with some questions and some insights, but it's all about coming back to your own inner wisdom, which we all have. So today's topic is surrender, and the reason that I chose this topic today is because it came to me in meditation. I hadn't prepared which topic would be for today, and I have a strong meditation practice that really keeps me grounded, and I very much trust in the wisdom that comes to me in that quiet space, and I just put it up. Ironically, I surrendered over trying to think of what it is that I needed to share today in my brain, and I allowed it to come in. And a really significant thing was about surrender and detachment. And if you stick around, I'm going to share at the end a couple of practices that have worked for me on a daily, quite basic basis, so that you can get started with this straight away. I know that sometimes the concept of surrender and detachment feels so big that it's impossible, it's far away. So I want to make this practical and realistic. So growing up, I think because I was a bit of a warrior, that I was often told to let it go, and it really pissed me off, to be honest. It felt really condescending, like I cared too much, you should stop worrying about things, and it just really annoyed me. I was like, what do you mean, let it go? How can I not be concerned about this thing that's really important? And that disposition caused me so much angst. It's only now that I really get the bigger picture of what let it go means, but at the time it felt insulting, actually. You know, like when someone says, take a chill pill, and you're just like, F off, you know? But the way that I was living meant that there was a lot of angst around things working out right. An example just popped into my head. Like, I am one of six, a family of six, and we have a lot of social occasions, as you can imagine. So lots of birthday parties, and it's something that we love to do as a family, is put on a really beautiful event. And I had a number of birthday parties. I think one of my sister's 21st, or maybe two of them, and my mum's 50th, and you know, a couple of other social occasions. I got so caught up in everything going perfectly that I couldn't even enjoy the party. You know, I worked myself up to the point that I got extreme hay fever, or, you know, I felt sick, or I couldn't really be present with anybody because I was so attached to things going exactly the way that I wanted them to. There was no flow. Even another example, if I was to send an email, or let's say an application for something, perhaps, you know, to do volunteering or for a scholarship or even a job application, you know, I'd work very hard on the thing itself, and then I would press send, and then I would wait anxiously until I heard a reply of some kind. So I don't know if anybody else has felt this before. I'm sure you have. It's a fretting that doesn't leave your body. So you've got like an anxiety, a tightness in your stomach for weeks on end, waiting for this particular outcome to come back to you. So that is all encompassing, because I think we're attaching to that result as a verification that we are good and we are loved, until we get that reply, until we know that party is completely perfect. We don't know that we're good. So we attach really strongly to things going the way that we want them to. And oh my God, it causes so much pain. If you're watching this with me now, just take a big breath. Because like everything else, we get a choice. Is this the way we want to be living our life? Because there is a better way. There is a way where we can be in tune with the flow of life and to really give it our best and put in our full intention and then let go. It feels crazy. I know it's such a crazy concept. And to be honest, when I heard the concept of detachment, I really thought it was reserved for highly religious people, and I was a bit, to be honest, confronted by the concept of that. I was like, well, I want to be in the world. I don't want to just be like so removed from all the human things that I don't feel them. I don't want to be detached. And I've come to understand so much more about what that means now. So I want to share with you. I think it's so important that we go for it. Don't hold back. Put it out, all out on the table. Set your intention, but do the thing. So set your intention that you would love to become fitter, or you want to do more creative work, or you would love to get a different job. Set that intention and do the work. Absolutely do the work. Pound the pavement. Get out there and do whatever it is that's required. Set the alarm, build new routines, build habits. You've got to stay in action. And at the same time, be open to whatever possibility arises. So, I mean, I am just such a tiny, tiny little speck in this ocean of beautiful, beautiful people speaking about surrender. And a couple of things, authors that come into my mind are Mike Dooley, especially around Playing the Matrix, and Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Got Your Back. There's so many beautiful teachers out there speaking about this. But the thing that really comes to mind is there may be possibilities for us. No, there are possibilities for us that we don't know what they are, right? So even something more wonderful could happen. And when we fixate on a particular outcome, a specific set of results that we want to achieve, we close the door on all of those other possibilities. And another angle that I want to throw in there is that we're not here for life to be perfect. We're here to experience it all and to learn it all. So whether this is about setting goals and intentions, or it's about learning to deal with the challenges that come up in your life and surrendering control around those things, either way, there's a lesson. There's something that we can take away from every experience. And we want to keep that really open, all those possibilities open. We can do that when we don't fixate so much on the exact outcome. So staying in action is key. We can't sit back and expect that all the things are going to turn out for us. We have to be in action, and then we have to let go at the same time. It seems like a far out, crazy kind of way of living. It feels like living in uncertainty. And that used to freak me buck out because I wanted everything to be certain. I wanted to know what the steps were. And now I'm so excited about uncertainty because it means that anything can happen, and embracing whatever it is that happens and learning from it is the gift. You know, that doesn't mean you're going to feel so good as soon as something happens you weren't expecting. You don't have to be like riding a wave of joy constantly. It's over time stepping back and allowing the message and that learning to come through. That's totally cool. But imagine if we missed out on all of those other beautiful things that are available to us by fixating. I know I'm repeating myself. This is attached to big beliefs about our worthiness and trusting in that stuff that's non-tangible, whatever word works for you. You know, I use words like guidance, the universe, the flow, all those things. Trusting that that flow is there to support me. That takes conscious effort to really trust in that. Hilariously, the only way to build that trust is just to take a leap. You can't ever know. It's incredibly ironic. But when you do take that leap and you just trust that things are going to work out for you, or that you are supported, the right lesson is going to come in, the right people are going to come to you at the right moment for you to learn what you need to learn, for you to experience what you are going to experience, it all becomes so simple. That to me is surrender. I want to share with you some practices, as I promised, of how we can make this, how we can start to build this as a habit without kind of, being like, oh God, it's going to take me 5 years to get my head around this, so I'm not going to bother doing it. Here are some really practical things that you can do, just throughout the week, especially when you are going for something, or you've set a new intention, or especially when something difficult happens and you're trying to work out how to navigate through that thing. So my tips around practicing surrender, the first one is gratitude. So let's imagine the two different scenarios that I'm working with here. First, you have sent in a job application and you really want that job, okay? And then the other scenario is something significant has happened that is causing you some difficulty, some challenge. So let's think of an example. I always kind of go to car accident. Maybe you weren't covered by insurance and you're not really sure how that thing is going to unfold. Either way, surrendering through the pathway of gratitude will absolutely lift you out of that intensity. So you sent the job application, or something terrible has just happened. Imagine that you have released those things, and if it helps for you for it to be a physical idea, like imagining kind of like dark energy, I guess, a darkness to be lifted from you, to come out the top of your shoulders and the top of your head, and then to do a gratitude practice. Because when we go into gratitude, we can always connect, we can always remember that there is goodness in our life, that there is bliss available to us at all times. So in both of those scenarios, sit down with your diary and write down 5 things you're grateful for, or even in a more powerful way, share it with somebody, share it with your family or your friend. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the life that I live, the home and the safety that I have. I'm so grateful to live in a country that enables me to be free, that allows me to explore my creativity as I choose. There are always things to be grateful for, and it's a very powerful hook to deal with challenge, and also to surrender and let go of the outcome of something that you really want to happen. Because regardless of whether it happens or not, you've got all these beautiful things. So it's just a tiny little activity I think can really help shift things. So practice number 2, and this is actually from Gabrielle Bernstein's book, Universe Has Got Your Back, is to set your intention. And write it down on a piece of paper. I have my intention jar here. Here we go. I'll be very vulnerable and see, that's not mine, that's Kirsty's. Okay, this is a vision, an intention that I set forth in my little vision jar. I know that's back to front. So in this vision, I am presenting to a room full of incredible women, and we are deep diving on the topics that have a huge impact on their lives. So that's my intention. That's what I'm setting forth to the universe. So what Gabby Bernstein suggests is that you write this down and you put it in a beautiful box, a vessel of some kind. And then a week later, you take that out and you safely burn it in the sink. What you're really doing there is just releasing it to such an extent that you're opening to any possibility. You're like, well, that's what I want, and I'm just going to put it out there, and then I let go. I'm not holding on to the outcome. So I haven't been burning these. I have just put them in the jar, and then I kind of forget about them again. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know when I wrote that. So either way, it's sort of like you're putting it down and you're getting it out of your mind. You surrender it over. It's a really great little practice. Again, if you're burning it in the sink, please be safe. Okay, and the last practice I want to share with you is to ask yourself the question, post setting intention, post getting in action, post there being a difficulty in your life. What would my inner child do? Because your inner child is pure potential, pure possibility, pure love and grace and bliss and joy. And if you think about yourself when you were a child, did you worry about the future? I think if you were, say, 3 or 4, I'm so excited about this idea, you really just did pleasure-seeking activities, right? So you were like, I want to play with blocks, so I'm going to go and play with blocks. You weren't worrying about the future. You weren't worried about whether those blocks were going to lead you to another game, which would lead you to like a really good career path. You were just in joy. You were just in the moment. That's why our inner child is such a beautiful guide to allow us to surrender, because we just go into the present moment. We go into play and pleasure and joy. And like gratitude, it's got the power to reconnect you so that no matter what the outcome is, you're cool. You're open. You're completely allowing any opportunity to come in. Maybe you start playing blocks and someone comes along and they're like, do you want to play pretend teacup party? Yeah, I want to do that. But if the attention had been so strictly on playing blocks, you would have missed the opportunity to have a really great pretend tea party. You know what I'm like with analogies, and here I go again. Always, really at any time, I encourage you to connect with your inner child. What would she do? She would play, she would run, she would sing. So you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to immediately develop a really strong belief in surrender and in the flow of the universe. And even when you do, it comes and goes, and you really have to continue to practice that. But you can just do some tiny things. Gratitude, writing your intention down, letting it go, whether it's by burning it or putting it away, and connecting with your inner child. I encourage you to give them a go. If surrender is something that you and your friends talk about a lot, I know it comes up a lot in my social circle, share this video with them. Do all the things. Let's get this message out there, because what's at stake is how much joy we want to live in. That's all for today, and I will see you next week. Mwah.